What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you for stopping in. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button right down below here. I'd love to have you. Before you guys head out, give the video a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have time, leave me a comment down below. So today, this is a fun one. This is strictly an opinionated one, much like everything else. These are just my honest opinions and observations, just what I think. And after being in the knife world for quite a while, you start to come to certain conclusions. And after making content for a certain amount of time, and thinking about it for even longer, you try to come up with ideas of different content material to do and what knives would fit the bill for that video and so on and so forth. It gets, there's a lot involved, and there's a lot of thought that goes into some things, and then other things you kind of just, throw it out there. But a lot of times, being so young in the YouTube world of creation, some of the things, or most of what I do, I try to put quite a bit of thought into the video. It might not always come out that way, especially when the editing part of it's just not there. I am starting to mess with thumbnails, get descriptions, get that all taken care of very well. Just things like that that really are what, believe it or not, a thumbnail, the picture of what the video is, that plays a huge role in bringing an audience to the video. And I'm learning that as I go. I'm learning, all kinds of things. But thumbnails are a huge part of getting attention to it. And then a bunch of other things come into play, the sound, the visual quality, the video quality, just a bunch of things. And does it have a description? Does it have links? And so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes into it, and it can consume you for hours and hours. And this does consume quite a bit of my day, between making shorts, making videos, editing videos, going back to old videos and editing them. I'm also doing that. I'm not going to wait. So I'm trying to go all the way back. I'm trying to input descriptions and cards and end icons and thumbnails for all of my videos. So eventually here, I'm close, but I still have quite a ways to go. But every video will have a description. Every video will have a new thumbnail. I started at the very end, which my latest video, and kind of started going back down. Then I kind of went to the beginning and did some of them, and then I messed around in the middle. So I'm kind of all over the place, but everything will have a thumbnail and description. So today I wanted to do two knives that you could have for the rest of your life. And I did a short on this the other day, and then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, I could just make a long form video as well. And my viewers know I can definitely do that. Hell, we just spent 4 minutes on the introduction of nothing. But, I wanted to do something fun. I did a short on, I believe it was these exact two knives, the other day. And it was titled something like Two Knives You Could Have for Life. And I kind of went over my collection, and it took quite a while, and I kind of narrowed it down, and then I kind of honed in on one fixed blade, one folder, and which two would truly last you for the rest of your life. Now, the only thing that gave me pause was the springs in the Benchmade. But because you have a lifetime warranty, that obstacle is kind of moot. Yeah, it's possible that it could break. I have probably close to 2 dozen crossbar lock knives now. Maybe not quite that many, but quite a few. Benchmades, SOGs, Kaisers, a bunch of different companies. Asher. There's a lot of people doing crossbar locks. And I have yet to have one break on me or anything of that nature. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened to me. So it's not something that just happens all of the time. But as I said, the Benchmade has been around for a while. They've been making good knives for a while. I'm not a Benchmade fanboy by any means. I do like Benchmades. Are they my favorite company? No. Do I like that they're American made? Yes. They use, for the most part, premium materials. Sometimes they try to get a little tricky with things, but the reason I selected the Benchmade Super Freak here. Now, I could input one other knife from Benchmade. We might as well pull it in now. If you wanted to go a little bit less on the cost, this is going to be a little bit more expensive, the more premium line of Benchmades, and this is going to be one of their lower tier Benchmades, which is the full size Griptilian. This is would be and is a great EDC knife and a great work knife. I mean, this thing is a hoss with the FRN scales, has a deep carry clip. It's got that awesome drop point blade, and it drops nice. Now, they do make a sheep's foot Warncliffe version, which would also be very good. But this is probably my hardest hitting Benchmade. This thing just sounds like a hammer hitting a brick wall. It sounds so good. Alright, but anyway, so we'll put him up there. This is the Benchmade Super Freak. Comes in M4 steel, M4 tool steel, which is tougher than nails. Very tough steel. The only issue with it is it has corrosion resistance issues. But that's where this coating comes into play. If you have a corrosive steel such as M4 or D2 or whatever it is, something that's not, nothing's completely corrosion resistant with the exception of like Vanex Super Clean, and there might, like LC200N possibly, but at the end of the day, you can get steels to corrode. And in this day and age, with the coatings that these companies are using now, they just tend to work very, very well. Now, you leave this out in the rain for a couple weeks, and you might start to see some issues. But as far as 2 knives for life for EDC purposes, 2 knives that you could just carry with you for the rest of your life. These aren't going to be knives that, you take into the jungle and fight a bobcat with or whatever. These are 2 knives that you keep with you for the rest of your life for an everyday carry purpose. Okay? So don't get it twisted as far as, what I'm talking about. 2 knives for everyday carry for the rest of your life. And I believe these 2 fit the bill. in my honest opinion, I think, you could have, theoretically, you buy these when you're 18 or whatever, you could potentially have it without, as far as, unless they get lost or stolen, I believe these two knives would hold up as is for the rest of your life, with the exception of the spring ordeal. But like I said, that goes back to the lifetime warranty and not knowing if they could never break. You know what I mean? So we'll kind of leave that where it is. The other guy you see here is the Essie Knives Azula 2. Now, this is an amazing EDC knife, as far as a fixed blade. It's a full tang construction, 1095, high carbon with a powder coat on it to prevent corrosion issues, which 1095 can rust, but with this powder coat on here, it just does an amazing job. Essie does an amazing job on their micarta. As you can see there, it's like a canvas micarta, and it is layered up. It's nice and thick. You have that nice thick handle. It's not too big. This is one of the fixed blades that I ended on as far as trying to find an EDC fixed blade that I thought I could truly carry with me. And this is, this is one of them. In some applications, it could be a little big, thick, but in most cases, this would be just fine for someone who carries a smaller fixed blade for EDC. Essie has a no questions asked lifetime warranty on these knives. So, if I took a brick and smashed it into the brick, a bunch of times and chipped the whole tip off and smashed the whole thing, I could get a hold of Essie and they would send me a new one. You know what I mean? That is how I am telling you, this is a knife without question. Without question, you could have for the rest of your life. You could sharpen it till there's nothing left and send it back to Essie, and they'll send you a new one. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They are, and I'm not saying Essie is better than White River. I'm not saying they're better than Bark River. I'm not saying they're better than whoever, the next guy. All I'm saying is this is a knife that you could have for the rest of your life based off of the material choices, based off of the company itself and who you're dealing with. If I couldn't say the same things about a Spyderco as I'm saying about Benchmade or Essie. Sadly, I could not. I would love to put a Spyderco here in place of the Benchmade, but because of the company, who they are and how they treat their customers as far as, needing something, a customer service aspect, Spyderco is not the company you want to deal with, sadly. I have heard story after, the first time I thought, man, that's probably true, but it might be a specific case and this, that, and the third. Well, after so much time has went by, it's been story after story after story of Spyderco just having shitty customer service. It's shit, and it's sad to say that. Yes, they put out good knives for the most part. They use good steels, they use good construction, good tolerances. They make good knives, but they are not prone to never making a mistake. And if you're going to have a company like that, run a company like that, you should stand behind your knives. If somebody needs a new pivot, send them a new pivot. You know what I mean? If somebody needs hardware, send them hardware. I don't get where the problem is with that. It just, it's baffling to me. But we'll get off that whole tangent with Spyderco. It's just irritating to hear an American company acting like that. You wouldn't suspect such a thing, and there's probably a lot of people that don't know that about Spyderco, and it wouldn't be hard to find out. You could easily find this information out that I'm telling you. Just being consumed with the knife community, I hear these things, and they are true. They are a huge issue when it comes to Spyderco knives and their customer service. They basically believe that they don't make mistakes, and any issue you have after the knife leaves their factory, it's either your problem or the retailer's problem. So good luck with anyone who has a customer service issue with their Spyderco. I'm not saying don't buy them. I'm just saying don't be surprised if you have an issue and they are not willing to help you. And even if they take your knife in, there's a good chance you're going to send your knife there and they're going to send it back to you the exact way you sent it. If not, send it back to you worse than you sent it to them. I've heard stories, true stories, of people sending their knife there and them getting it back even worse than when they sent it there. Or they get it sent back and nothing's been done. So, end rant there. But with Benchmade, they flat out say it. Lifetime warranty. You need sharpening done, you need tuning done, a spring breaks, they'll fix it. You know what I mean? Now, some of that might come at a small cost, paying for it to get there, and then depending on what you want them to do, some of it might be charged as far as like paying some amount. But for the most part, you're not going to have an issue with Benchmade and their customer service. They have great customer service as far as I'm aware of. I'm sure there might be some issues some people have had somewhere along the line, and that would probably be due to a customer service rep not really knowing what they're doing, would be my guess, or something to that effect. Or the issue wasn't just, who knows? There's all kinds of circumstances and whatnot, but for the most part, Benchmade's going to be good to deal with. On the other hand, Essie, they are going to be great to perfect to deal with. And that's why I have no problem buying their knives. I could easily do another video of two knives that you could have for life that, would be like, bigger knives for, in the bush or whatever. This could be replaced with a certain Essie, and then this guy replaced maybe with another Benchmade or something of that nature. But all in all, I think these two are going to be great for two knives that somebody who doesn't want 100 knives to go and look at. The Essie Azola 2 and the Benchmade Super Freak, or if you wanted to, drop the budget down just a little bit, you could go with the Griptilian here, the Drop Point, or the, let's see here, get a nice little close up of these guys before we head out. As you can see there, the Griptilian and the Super Freak are very similar knives. They're very similar knives, you know, similar shapes in a sense, similar blade design in a sense. They're both drop points. Uh, so if you didn't want to quite spend the money, see, you're getting a tougher steel here. You're getting a better handle, a comfier handle, a better looking handle. But if that is no interest to you, this knife you could get for under 200 bucks. Which, yeah, 200 bucks sounds like a lot, but this knife costs more than those two combined. So, you know, it's not that much to get two knives that you could have with you for the rest of your life. About 200 bucks or less, probably, if you really searched for a deal. But you know, for somebody new in the coming into the knife world who's just looking for a couple good EDCs, I would say this is where I would start looking. I would start looking at Benchmade. I would start looking at Essie. Uh, I would look, you know, maybe at a Hogue. If you want to stay in American type territory where, you know, they have legitimate guarantees on their knives, this is where I would start. And after I bought, you know, my first Buck 110, which they have a good, you know, warranty there too. But the next company, you know, when I initially started buying knives, I was like, I'm not going to buy a ton of knives, you know, little did I know. So I was like, where's a good place to start and get a folder that I could have forever? And the first knife I bought after my Buck 110, which would be my second knife that I bought, you know, before I got into knife collecting, was a Benchmade. It was a Benchmade bug out in S90V and carbon fiber with a deep carry clip. I still have it. That knife could be sitting right here as well. I only picked the M4 because it's tougher than S90V. S90V's blade would last longer, the edge. But you really couldn't go wrong with a Benchmade. They're going to be good materials, good tolerances, craftsmanship, finishing work, and the same's going to be true with Essie. If you have any comments or concerns, leave them down below. If you have two knives you think would do better in this category, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. If you're still here and you're not subbed, hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I love y'all. Thank you for staying through the whole video. Don't forget, tomorrow I'm doing my Hank giveaway with issuing stitches. So if you hung out this long, you know you're getting a little insider information. The Hank giveaway will be tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to quite do it yet, but it will be tomorrow. May do it on a live stream of someone else's. We shall see. But thank you guys. Love y'all. Have a good one, and I will catch y'all later.